Votespeaker as well. And then there's Votespeaker.
Sure. All right, looks like I'm doing everything all at once. I have got multiple things, so I'll try to keep this at least a little bit brief. I'm Jethro. Oh, I'm one of the current fellowship candidates at New Speak House. I'm also a graduate from the remarkably well-known and really rather batty London Interdisciplinary School. You might have seen the adverts on the tube. There are now a few graduates hanging around. This is the first thing I'd like to show you, which is the Electoral Commission chatbot. So, can I have a quick show of hands? Who here has used the Electoral Commission website before? Yeah? And keep your hand up if you find it really frustrating to navigate that website. Yeah, cool. So in fact, while building this, we discovered that a lot of the documents were missing. So we did this classic process, we scraped the website, we got all the documents, we stored them in something called a vector database, which I'll show you in a second. And we discovered that actually this bot was not answering some of the questions that we had for it, because there was a whole swathe of pages on the Electoral Commission website which the scraper had missed because you can't find them from inside the website. You have to Google for the thing, then click on the link, and then you can find it. So that's how horribly formatted that website is. So now we've got this. So we've taken all of the data, thrown it into a nice database, and got it so an LLM can answer your questions. So how about that one of our examples. I'm up here, by the way, representing Lefke and Lucy as well, who are the two people that were doing the front end for this. I'm just the sort of showman for it right now. It does look fantastic, doesn't it? Look at that. It kind of goes great. There we go, fantastic. Here we go, there's the answer to the question. Has anyone got another question? So we can...
Also, click for sources.
Oh yes, of course, this feature is a great one. So this one, it in fact does take you straight to the page on the website. It gives you the answer to this one as well. Take a long time to load. There we go. So here we go. So this is where the information can be found. Nice and straightforward. It does the thing that everyone wants a chatbot to do. What I'll do now is I'll quickly show you the process behind this. So it turns out that what everyone wants when they want AI in their company or whatever is they want a chatbot to chat to their internal company data. And what they want is a retrieval augmented generation pipeline, which looks a little bit like this. I'll just take you quickly through what it is. So you have all of the original documents, which are the things. In this case, we scraped them from the Electoral Commission website. It was a mix of PDF documents and text documents here. Turn them all into text, chunk them up into little bits, because LLMs have little tiny context windows, put them in something called a vector database. It says vector store here. It's a vector database just like a normal database, except it stores everything as a number, or a rather long sort of decimal number. And then by doing that, it can look at the different vectors, the different numbers, and go like, oh, these two are close to one another, so they must be semantically related. This one must be the answer to the person's question. So it's a very cool way of storing information in a way that actually represents the entire sentence or piece of text that's been said. So we have that bit there. We have along the top, this is just the person inputting their question, goes la-di-da, goes to the model, turns it into a standalone question based on the chat history, turns it into an embedding, queries the vector store, goes like, hey, I search for a thing that is related to charities and distributing leaflets and funding, and it finds all the stuff that's related to that, sends back the information that's relevant, and then answers the question with it, just with information. There we go, and then you get the answer. So that's the process. This is what a lot of LLM trickery is right now. It's just take all the data, put it into a vector database. That's the innovation. It's quite handy. Any questions on this before I go on to the next thing? Yes? How long is the context window? Well, if you're using GPT-4, I think it's like 120,000 tokens right now, but only 70,000 of those are useful. Actually, no, I think Bard, Google have just gone up to 1 million. Yeah. In this case, I don't think we've really got to worry about the limit. There's generally only 3-4 sources that are relevant. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Jethro on Electoral Commission Guidance Bot? And this is an amazing thing for loads of people, because we basically have loads of campaigners saying to us, the Electoral Commission website is impossible to use. We don't know where to find anything. And having been frustrated with that for a very long time, this is going to be an incredibly useful project. And also it's got all the important kind of disclaimers as well, which is check with a lawyer if you're going to do something really weird, which is important.
Jethro, can you ask a question about funding?
Of course.
About funding rules.
Funding?
Funding rules.
For what?
How much can you, okay, donation guidelines.
For how much am I allowed to donate to X, Y, Z? What's the question here?
How
Give me
much-
words.
How much can I donate to the Labour Party this year? Without declaring it.
Now this might be an interesting exploration in prompt design here. Because if you ask a very vague general question, as we might now discover, we might get a very vague general answer. So let's see.
How much can I donate to the Labour Party this year
Without declaring.
without declaring it?
Oh, no. Let's see what we get. So it doesn't know the year, so I have no idea what year it's going to find here.
Yeah, that's correct.
There we go, fantastic. That's our answer. And if you want to check the source, because you don't trust the LLMs, you should never trust your LLMs. Do not believe what they say. You should go look up the answers, and we can find all the sources here. So the website for us. Clearly, now I'm not sure if I failed to create the URL here, or if it's, just very slow on the website. Here we go. There's the page. Cool. And there's where the answer is, on the page.
Amazing.
Cool. Let me, in fact, that was a sneak peek, but ignore that. So we've learned some things tonight about how remarkably underfunded political campaigning is, specifically for Labour. So Adam is a political data scientist from the US. Is that correct? Yeah, okay, sort of correct. Yeah. Have you been stupefied by the level that there is not funding here for anything related to political data science? Constantly, yeah. It is remarkable. I mean, they've got millions going in because it's such an enormous industry. They've got lobbying happening. There's so much going into this stuff in the US. In the UK, we have a tastefully underfurnished room here in East London, and that's about it. So,
Amazing community.
and a fantastic community. Yeah, big up, shout out to Hannah, who's right here. So since being here, I've been discovering the problem, and I've now teamed up with Andy over here to start this company, Wiser, which is all about using data science, becoming political data scientists, using some of the fantastic tools that get made here at Campaign Lab, and trying to sell this directly to candidates and go guys, you need to use some data. So if that sounds interesting to you, then do come and speak to us afterwards. I would like to demo you this, which is on the website here. So what this does, this is a quick and cheeky thing I made sometime last week. What it does is it drafts messages. So the concern here is something that happened back in 2015, is the Conservatives sent a bunch of personalised letters out, and they did super, super well in that election because they were so super targeted. It was the first year that they did some real data-driven stuff. Labour is classically 15 years behind. And so this is a nice, cheap and easy way to send personalised messages to lots of people. This one here is an example. So we can create a fake person here. Can I have a name, please? Zach Moss, great name.
Zach is actually a previous campaign labber who built our text reminder to vote, so that's cool.
Where is Zach Moss from?
He's living in Bristol at the moment.
Bristol. Let's go. Bone intention. You guys got to shout these out ahead of time. You can see what's coming up in the form. What does he intend to vote for?
He'll vote Labour.
He'll vote Labour. Cool. How confident is he in that?
I'm 8.
8. Can we make him a bit less confident this time? This
Alright,
version
yeah.
of that. So we can have a good example. Okay, fantastic. What style should we write in? Turns out Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson, their styles are very distinct. So we get certain types of letters out of these guys. But we can try a different one. What do we want to hear? Jonathan McDonald. Want to hear some Jonathan McDonald? Oh yeah, sure. We've got him in the list. Which demographic system should we use? We all love our demographics.
Use value modes.
Use value modes. Cool.
And we'll say he's a pioneer.
He's a pioneer. Fantastic. Cool.
I think it unclicked at the top.
What was that? What did I click?
As in the style of his office.
Oh, aha. Yeah, so this is also my first foray into some UX design. So what this one does is it lets you type that one in manually. There, so it's not switched off. So it's just switching to manual typing. So you can make it someone else.
Let's do it.
Donald Trump. Okay. Okay. So let's say we want to start, which is intellectual, ethical, and innovative. What are the details of our policies? Someone say something. I'm going to put stop the boats.
AI policy, AI safety policies. Just thinking about what Zach would actually find interesting. Yeah.
Go on. Someone else shout something out. What's a fantastic policy that you want to see your candidate going for?
Abortion.
For what about abortion? Are they in favour of it? They want what sort of
Pro-abortion. Pro-abortion.
Is that even a current political issue in the UK? I think?
No, I think it gets candidates actively pro-abortion.
So the idea here is that we can scale this one up and we can send out personal letters to every single person in the constituency, because all we need is their contact created data. We can just throw that one in and send everyone, draft everyone a letter. And of course what you're about to see is an example, because as you should always be doing is checking your responses from GPT with actual sources before believing them outright.
I think you need to click right button.
It just takes a little bit of time to load. There we go! We haven't got the sexy sort of like loading thing going on this one. I say quick and dirty. There we go. Dear Zach Moss, I trust this letter finds you well and in high spirits. Who can do a good Trevor McDonald? Can you do a good Trevor McDonald? Or just do it in your heads? What are we thinking of this one? Can I see a number of? Can I see hands for 5 out of 5? Anyone think someone deserves a 5 out of 5 as a letter? 5 from Hannah. Who's going to give it a 4 out of 5? 4 out of 5. Cool. 3 out of 5. If you were Zach, would you be convinced by this? That's the question. 2 out of 5. 1 out of 5. Okay, a lot of hands didn't go up there. We got a 1. What's all?
Can I say it's fine, except it's far too long.
Yeah.
No one's going to read
Ah.
it, so how can you cut it?
That can actually be very, very easily sorted. I'm glad that that's the concern here, because what you can do is when you send the prompt off, all this is doing is just making a prompt. Some people were talking about prompt engineering or prompting being difficult. So this is just, I've done all the prompting in the back end, so it's just turned it into a form here. One of the parameters that you can send to the model is just the length of the answer. You can just say, give me this many tokens back, and it will so very easily can be adjusted.
That'd be good.
This is also a front end to something we experimented with last year, where this was all in a spreadsheet. But now it's got like an amazing front end and it's become way more like specific.
Oh, and for the sake of not being associated specifically with Labour, you can write as a Conservative if you'd like, or as a Lib Dem, whatever you'd like. If you want to convince people to come over to the dark side, then you even have the option to be Reform. That's all of that one. Do you guys want to see one more? I've got one more thing. You're interested? Yeah, one more thing? Cool.
What was the website for this?
This one is Votespeaker.
It will be on the Campaign Lab website as well.
And also on the Wiser website, wiser.uk. Make sure to see the.
Indeed, there we go. That's the website right there, Votespeaker.wise.uk. And check out the website! Or like just speak to us, we're just here. So this one was another bit of fun. Ooh, have I typed in the wrong URL? We'll go to UK. There we go! That's what we want. So, this is even more quick and dirty, but nonetheless good fun. So, has anyone ever been interested in what appears on Hansard? Or rather, does anyone not know what Hansard is? If I say that, does anyone not want an explanation of what it is? Cool, yeah, it goes back 150 years. It's a database or like a record of every single thing that has been said in Parliament. So every single conversation, every debate, it's all been recorded in the Hansard database, named after some chap called Hansard, presumably. And it's really hard to read. It looks a bit like, I haven't integrated the feature, I haven't pushed my changes. So let's have a look at this one here. It looks a little bit like this. You have very, very long debates, discussions. No one's ever going to read that, and they talk like they have a stick up their arse. It's ridiculous. So the whole point here is that we can summarize every single one of these debates very easily and get some nice chat-style answers. Super simple, nice and accessible version of Hansard. So these ones are also the examples. We did have a problem at one point. I don't want to find it because I don't want to defame her any further, but there is a candidate here that was converted by GPT-3 to say something about putting the guts out of homeless people. So there is an AI safety issue there, clearly. But this, in time, will come off the back burner and we'll do this automatically, so every single evening at 6:20 p.m. when the latest debates get put on, they will appear on here in a nice, easy and accessible format. So if you're interested in that one, if you want to take it further, then do please talk to me, because at the moment I've got other things on the plate. But if you're interested, then speak to me about this.
Or Ted.
Or Ted! Or Ted. Ted was the one that came up with the idea. Thank you very much!
And as you can see, there's like loads of really interesting things going on there and interesting interfaces. And do talk to Jethro and do or Ted if you're interested in any of these more broadly. Next up we have Francesco doing local news